of the things that pains me most is how can investigators come here and fail to get death certificates? 1,300 people whose talk we are talking about today, victims, they are not accompanied by death certificate.
You know, Dr. before Onyango again you respond, Dr. if you talk about the issue of death certificate by these people who are killed, for example, let me tell you there are a lot of, for example, bureaucracies in terms of getting these documents. Who knows, perhaps even the government may have gagged some of these issues, for example.
I'm not a government spokesman.
You're not a government spokesman,
and
but
therefore you put that question to the government.
Sorry, but just to run to a foregone conclusion and say, how comes ICC did not get this death certificate?
I have seen.
Will not be
because
honest
I've gone to the court. Onyango and Mr. Host and OCHIENG.
Tawish is my name.
Please, Tawish. I have been there. I have also been charged. Threatened to be charged with Article 70. Don't forget that. You know that. I know. The chief prosecutor said, I tampered with a witness. On 4th of April, she terminated every case against me because I told her the truth, which she also came to the chamber and said, Matsanga was right. The witness number 4 was a liar. So I know that there are no death certificates for any single victim.
Mr. Onyango.
You know, I'm even wondering since when did Dr. Matsanga here get to test a lie detector? But let's get back to the case. Dr. Matsanga, this is Kenya. What happens in these cases of this nature is that witnesses can be contrived. This witness brought himself to whether he gave his witness accounts to Kenya National Human Rights Commission or whether they gave it to the prosecution side of the ICC before crossing the side to become for the accused, right? But what I'm trying to say, how sure are we that he was not contrived? How sure are we that he was not motivated into recanting his witnesses? And that is why I'm saying his statements. That is why I'm saying, remember, these people came out to be witnesses, to be prosecution witnesses. Some of them were flown out. Sometime back, we even did see some of them coming out that they've been living lavishly somewhere in Kilimani or stuff. So what I'm trying to say is this. Why don't... So, Ocampo, let me ask you a question even before I finish.
Actually not Ocampo.
Sorry. Let me ask you. So, are you against Ocampo? Are you against Bensouda? Or are you against the institution of the OTP?
I have said, and let me speak in good English, that I read not today, I read about 30, 40 years ago.
It's okay.
The English is, I am against the office of the chief prosecutor methods of investigations. Because for now, we have so many witnesses. There was inducement of witnesses. I have on record, it's because I want to keep your show very nice, because I could name people whom I know on record who actually induced witnesses, and I have complained. Surely, in a democracy where I've lived 27 years in London, 27 years, if a minister's car is seen in a red district with braking to stop, even to buy cigarettes, and that minister's car is flashed by a journalist to say, we saw minister and so in a red district, you know what red district means. That minister is investigated and resigns. So many complaints have come on the ICC chief prosecutor's office. And the people have said, the government of Kenya says ICC did not do a good job. The ICC says witnesses were bungled by other people in the world. Why doesn't the ICC put an independent commission of inquiry? OCHIENG, that's what I'm seeking. And that's why AU said enough is enough.
Dr. Do you think that everybody actually can agree to the ICC process? Some of your critics will argue that, Dr. maybe you are taking this position perhaps because you were once a victim of the same.
No, I have never been a victim.
As in, when you talk about ICC and sometimes having even written a letter to you, the office of the prosecutor.
Yes.
Yeah. I think because of all this, maybe could it be what is informing maybe your attitude towards ICC?
No. Host, I saw this problem. I wanted people to know this problem. This is international taxpayers' money. We have wasted 80 million. You know the figures?
I know the figures from 2002.
Yes?
Yeah.
$80 million. Look, which could buy a hospital, build a hospital in Turkana. Coming to look for nothing.
Doctor, can you actually buy a hospital? Can you actually build a hospital to treat dead people? We are talking. You're talking about. You're trying to relate an issue of money here, the expense or the expense incurred at the ICC, and people who died in Kenya, for example.
A man did a shoddy job. I am not protecting anybody who tried to kill people in Kiamba. I am simply saying international norms, and when I live in Europe, I pay my tax for 27 years. Yeah. I have got to take somebody for perjury. Yeah. Ocampo, Fatu Besuda, the presiding judge, Ekaterina, committed perjury. Maina Kabutu recanted his evidence in November 26th, in 2010.
Doctor, maybe who knows, perhaps even Kabutu was influenced to recant his evidence.
Maybe he was motivated to recant his
exactly.
Why don't you respond? What are the circumstances, for example, that led to him recanting his evidence?
These are the things I want the world to know. Yeah.
Okay, now
I am not one of those who went with a gun to put on Maina Kabutu. Yeah. I am only one who saw Maina Kabutu texting on Facebook. As a curious journalist like you are, analyst, what do? A witness in the ICC must have a protection order. When I discovered that Maina Kabutu had no protection order, the lawyers of Maina Kabutu said, David Matsanga, fly to South Africa, get this evidence. This man recanted a long time ago. Ocampo told us in 2011, OTP4. Do you know how many times it was sung? 264 times in court. OTP4, OTP4, OTP4. Uhuru Kenyatta was with Maina Kabutu. Now I said, oh, Ocampo, how do you tell us lie in front of the cameras, the world cameras? That's what prompted me, not money. I only saw Uhuru Kenyatta in Addis Ababa when I greeted him. I had never met Uhuru Kenyatta, sat down to have a meal, or Ruto, or asked them, can I do a favor? Actually,
Doctor, that one we cannot assert. We cannot assert whether you've ever met Uhuru Kenyatta or Deputy.
I want to make it clear because some of people here have got an NGO syndrome. I'm not part of the NGO syndrome. You people want to feel OCHIENG. You want to feel this is your country. Have patriotism first before you move to another stage, because this is your country at the end of the day. This country will be torn in two pieces. It has polarized this nation. This ICC, 1,300 people died. We need answers.
Doctor, I'm sorry, but why should you actually say that if the ICC cases at The Hague will continue the way they are now, this country will be torn? Are you trying to tell Kenyans that the cases of 3 individuals is heavier than the people who died?
No, let me tell you. Let me tell you why. You have just come out of, I'm now telling you as a senior person in the field of analysis. Because I own that department.
That is why you qualify to be on this seat.
Let me tell you, you have just come out of a bruising election.
Yeah, sure.
The emotions are still high. 2, peace in the Rift Valley has come. Yes, for the first time in history, the voting in this country took place without a stone thrown in Naivasha. I'm a historian who has read the history of Kenya. Your constitution is very clear. It allows peace and reconciliation. Buffalo Kiplagat has put out a TJRC, which you people should now utilize to harmonize both the systems. The Chief Justice of the High Court has set up a special division.
Actually, of the Supreme Court.
To try crimes against humanity and other related crimes that cannot be tried in normal courts. Now, surely you people, at this stage, if you airlift your president, can I make my point?
Briefly, sir, because again, we are going for a short break.
If you allow your president and your vice president, have you seen the trick that ICC have brought? And I want to be frank again, because I'm not an NGO. What they have said, the cases will run concurrently. Oh my God, look at that, concurrently. It means when Uhuru is in court and Sang, in case 1, Ruto is in court with Sang, Uhuru's case will follow the following morning until. So there is a trick here. A trick, a very serious trick. And let me tell you, Kenyans.
Dr. for 10 seconds, please. We are going for
concurrence
a
means
break here.
the two will be out of this country. And if they are out of this country for more than 10 days, the Constitution of the Republic, which I have seen this gentleman carrying here, what does it say? If the president and the commander-in-chief are away for 10 days.
Yeah, Dr. We'll be narrowing that maybe after a short break. Yes. But before we go for a short break, Mr. Onyango, maybe you can comment briefly in 10 seconds about this.
I think Dr. is not sincere, even to the extent that he's saying that we are suffering from we tend to love the West and you're not patriotic. Dr. we are patriotic. The most starting thing is that these killers have not even been brought to justice. Even the local gentlemen we are talking about who are hacking people in Naivasha, shooting people in Kisumu like desert locusts, no way. Something must be done, and we must bend the arc of impunity. I'm not implying that Uhuru and Ruto and Sang are guilty. No. That is the sole jurisdiction of the judge. Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. For now, though, we are going to take a short break. My dear viewer, this is Insight at GBS. We are coming to you live from Nairobi. And in studio this morning, I have political analyst and columnist of the People Daily, Mr. Onyango Ochieng, and of course, Dr. David Matsanga, a conflict resolution expert. We are taking a short commercial break, but when we come back, we are going to continue discussing about the scenarios in Kenya wanting to refer back the ICC cases. Welcome back, my dear viewer, to Insight at GBS. Today we are discussing about Kenya's bid to want to refer ICC cases to Kenya. And in studio, I have political analyst Mr. Onyango Ochieng, as well as Dr. David Matsanga, who is a conflict resolution expert. Welcome, gentlemen, once more to our studios. And before we even continue with the debate, actually, some of the viewers here have sent rather their comments and questions. One of them is saying, tell Daktari to go back to his country, let the ICC do his job. Uganda is a country with injustice. Look at what they did to Dr. Besigye, Ryan from Nairobi. And also another viewer here is saying, why keep talking of ICC, which we know as Africans, it's a project of the West to keep Africa to its swing. The West had its plans but failed. Who doesn't know how the fight was ignited and by who and why? You are against Daktari for he is not dancing the West tunes. Maybe, Daktari, before we continue, could you please respond to the first issue here about this viewer called Ryan is talking about, like, we should allow ICC to take its course, to do its job. Until when, if they find that maybe there's no sufficient evidence, they can at long last acquit the 3 individuals who are remaining at the ICC.
Yes, let me first tell the viewer that if Kenya bleeds, my mother will not have salt. Therefore, I'm entitled, and this is East African region, for such a viewer to say, go back to Uganda, is like discriminating me, and he wants a Muzungu to talk about Kenya, but not Matsanga, an African, to talk about Kenya. Let me come to the reason why I am saying we have already said Kenya has a credible judicial system. We set up these people were vetted in daytime, not night. They are there. Justin Mutunga is there. Powerful people, Wanjala, who, all these people are there. Now, for you to come as a Kenyan to say, I still believe 50 years down the road, I am interested in a clerical officer. Did you know that some of the judges in the ICC are chosen on political appointment? Ozaki, for example, from Japan, is a political appointee of the Japanese interest in international law. And that's how she became a judge. Some of the magistrates, let me tell you frankly, some of the magistrates in Nairobi are better than some of the judges there, because some of these people are just taken there. They have not got enough training. Kenya has got the basic screening mechanism so far of judges.
Dr. Let us talk.
And let's be very honest. Let me finish my point.
Okay,
here.
You can finish. Let
me just
finish, Dr.
I have no quarrels with the ICC as an institution. Let the viewers not think I'm against ICC. I am only against the way the ICC committed crimes by not investigating fully, by going back with short evidence, which has now made the people victims to die twice. Because this case, even if you say what, one lawyer is going to ask, one senior lawyer in the defense will ask, my lords, before we commence with this case, I want to see death certificates How did the people die? This case will collapse.
Yeah, Dr.
If it collapses that way, fine.
Dr. Before Mr. Onyango responds, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
You're talking about Kenyan mechanism being credible enough to be able to oversee all these investigations and also maybe prosecute the individuals who have been mentioned, who are maybe indictees at the ICC. Remember, according to the Kenyan Constitution, Article 143(1) of Chapter 9, it says you cannot constitute any criminal proceedings against a sitting president.
Yes.
How will it be viable or even possible for Kenyan courts, for example, much as they are viable and credible?
They are two different.
Yeah.
I think we are mistaking something.
Yeah.
Let me go in on where the heart of a lawyer. We are mistaking the court of your Supreme Court and others. And then there is a court which is domesticated, a special division, which tries international crimes. The crimes now before where the president and the deputy are charged can be tried by special division of the High Court. Already, even if Kenya, let's face facts, even if Kenya withdraws from the ICC today, it will not affect the current cases. This is a fact.
That's a fact,
So, what we are saying is that the Chief Justice has created a special division of the High Court. This special division should now hurry to get now the TJRC, which says some people were involved in this scheming. The 20 names that I've been talking about.
Actually, Mr. Onyango, the division that we were talking about, the Chief Justice creating at the High Court, was to address other cases. Actually, the other people who are mentioned, maybe in the reports in Kenya, in Kenyan investigation, but not necessarily the ICC case. But again, Mr. Onyango, I want to ask you this: understanding the Kenyan scenario. Looking at even the witnesses recanting their evidence at the ICC, how will it be possible for witnesses here in Kenya actually to give their account against a sitting president or even a deputy president? Will it be possible, really?
First of all, the answer is no. Number one, we have a very weak, in fact, a very weak witness protection legal regime in this country. Number two, the special division of the High Court that is talking about, that is saying that the AG has created, the Chief Justice has created, it will not be practical. Remember, the TJRC report is just out, and there's been already politicization of this thing. Dr. Matsanga, what I want you to know is that let us not politicize this process. Let us not politicize these issues. Let's look at these issues with an aim of ending impunity. Let us be determined to end impunity. The Uganda is talking about that now he's a citizen of the East African, and if he goes back to his Uganda, he's being discriminated here and blah, blah, blah. Dr. Matsanga, that is not fair. That is not fair. As Kenyans, we lost our people, we lost our families. We demand justice, and justice must be done. There's even, tell him that there are still IDPs in camps. These people, their houses were brought down.
But their land tell the audience.
Okay, fine. I mean, these people.
Because I have made.
Wait, Daktari.
Arguing about your position.
Daktari,
but
wait.
I have not seen an point coming.
These people, their homes were destroyed. Their cattle were taken. They were, in fact, they were deported. Crime of deportation, right? Their land is still there. What are they still doing in camps? When he's saying that we Kenyans have reconciled, there's peace, there's what are these people still doing in camps? Okay. Something must be done, and it shows that there's no political goodwill.
Daktari, what is the fear in letting the case continue at the ICC? What is the biggest fear? Or even the worry, actually?
You see, what you people are trying to bring here looks like we have fear of letting the case to continue.
Ordinarily, that is what it presents itself.
That is what you're saying.
You see, there's a difference between me and the Kenya government. You are not attacking a government spokesman. I'm not a government spokesman.
You're talking as an individual here,
in fact, I have spared you from my intellectual capacity.
Bring it on.
Sorry, Daktari, but you should not spare anyone.
I'm sparing
I want you
you
to face the
as a professional, as a conflict resolution expert. I don't want to create any conflict. I am only saying, and I stated, I am not against government spokesman. I speak, as I speak today, there are refugees who are Kenyans in my district.
I know.
Do you know that? And there's somebody in this studio, in this Kenya, telling me to shut up when I have housed refugees in my Mbale district from Kenya, from the conflict. Is not very good.
That is pro bono.
So, no, that is not very good, because I am also, I'm also concerned that the Kenyans who live in Uganda today, as a result of the 2078 violence, should return home. But I am not the government spokesman. You should refer that to the government ministry. And let's argue the case that the AU made a resolution saying because of the nature of the investigations, the type of investigations, the shorter investigations that were carried out in the Kenyan case, are you better than 54 countries?
There are only 34 members.
I am not.
There are only 34 member
yes,
states.
Are you better?
Africa.
But the states, are you better than those? Even the 34 members, only one member called Botswana tended to disagree and say, talk like you. The 33 member states in Africa talked like Matsanga.
No.
So, no, yeah. These are facts.
But
now
look
you
at
want
the, look,
even
look
to
at
argue.
this country.
You were not.
Look at this country.
Why can't you? If you are going to
look
argue,
at the countries he's talking about.
Mr. Ochieng, if you are going to argue like a small activist
No,
on the on the streets of Nairobi, I'm not going to be involved.
Actually, Daktari is not a kind of like trying to demean anyone here.
No,
we actually give everyone your stature. That is why actually we invited you to this discussion.
But you are now
actually,
making me to argue like an activist.
But again, Daktari,
carries pigs to the parliament.
Sorry, Daktari. One thing that you should accommodate that this debate is not necessarily that all of us, the three of us, must agree.
No,
that's not the point.
I agree, but let him allow me to finish.
Okay,
but
finish.
He's acting like an activist who carries pigs to parliament. I am not arguing with such people. I have a home and I have children, I have a family. Therefore, I stand for the principles that I have as a Ugandan and a Pan-African. My stand is against the office of the chief prosecutor. I'm not defending Uhuru, I'm not defending Ruto, I'm not defending Sang. This man came and wasted 80 million United States dollars of my taxpayer. I work in London. I don't sleep and be paid in London. London pays a lot of money to the chief prosecutor. He came here to do a good job. Now we are hearing witnesses are flowing out. Some are going this way, some are going that way. Is there no person who can stand up and say, hey, what is happening in the court? That's what I did.
Yeah,
that is my point.
Daktari and Mr. Nyango, before you continue, actually there's one viewer here who is congratulating Daktari. He's saying, Daktari is very right. We are carefully watching over the ICC because we are Kenyan victims and want to know why the innocent are being tried when the guilty are enjoying the milk of the land. That's Helen from South B. And another viewer here is saying, I wish Dr. Matsanga wife and the 8 kids were killed. He not talk like that. Because he's saying like you feel, according to this viewer, he's saying like, you don't like feel the people who died in Kenya. That is what this viewer is talking about here, Daktari. But briefly, maybe you can respond to this issue. The ICC, the Office of the Prosecutor, has responded to the AU decision by saying that it's a political move, for example, and they're not going to listen or even give consideration to political decisions by political leaders, much as we are talking about all the 43 African member states voting in a resolution together to support Kenya's case to come back to Kenya.
Let me first of all say to the viewer in South B, I am equally concerned that 1,300 people perished. But the manner in which the chief prosecutor invoked Article 15 of the Rome Statute and then came here, all of us has hopes. The man told us that Kenya will be an example and promised us that this trial will be speedy and whatever it is. It has now taken almost 6 years. Witnesses, some are dying natural death. We have a problem here as all Kenyans. Let's not speak, and the East Africans and Africans, let's not speak as if we glorify the act of killing other people. I am not a party to that. I want people who killed people here, who slashed people, to be brought to trial. 2, if the ICC goes to say, as it is saying now, that this is a political, it has, the AU has given ICC a warning shot, a wake-up call. I'm telling you, a wake-up call that if you don't change your behavior of the office of, you have seen the resolution, by the way, I can do it for you. The resolution, part of second resolution at B says, the office of the chief prosecutor must be investigated on how they conducted such investigations in the Kenyan case. That is not bad.
It's not
It is
bad,
part of balancing. The AU has not said we don't like ICC. They have said the manner in which the ICC investigated the Kenyan case of Office of the Chief Prosecutor. Witnesses disappearing. Witnesses being induced that they will be given a passport and a house in London. And then they came to, then later on, when they found that this house was not available, they flew back to Kenya. These are some of the things that Matsanga is trying to highlight to the world.
Yeah, Mr. Onyango, it appears there's something burning you want to say.
Terry, I want us to look at it beyond the Kenyan example. For example, let's look at this AU resolution. I want us to be a bit proactive here, and let's off the Kenyan one a bit. You all know that at one time Uganda warned al-Bashir not to step on the streets of Kampala, that they will implement the arrest warrant against him. South Africa did so, Malawi did so, and now what I'm wondering, why is this case different? Why are we seeing selective amnesia here? What is specifically AU up to?
I think that's a very good question. The AU received a memorandum from IGAD and East African Community that this country has just been in a bruising election where people's emotions are still high. The AU, after receiving that memorandum from IGAD and the East African Community, I'm not an East African head of state, please. You would ask your people in Kenya. This was brought before IGAD and before the East African Community heads of state. Do you know the mechanism of AU, how they receive what they put on agenda is blocks. ECOWAS, SADC, East African Community, the North Africa, what? They bring motions. And these motions are put in place. So one of the motions that came from IGAD and East Africa was that the Kenya has just come out of a bruising elections. Over 6.5 million people voted. They say now over 13 million people voted because both of them voted for their people. Some voted for opposition, some voted for Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto. These people have said, whatever happens, these are our people. So they have now said, the AU, after looking after this resolution, he said, oh my God, if we now go on 9th of July to airlift a sitting president, these are realities. You want realities? What does it help? What does it help?
Tawish, I may agree with that. I may agree with Dr. to the extent, because to the extent, personally, I have issues with ICC. For example, what constitutes crimes against humanity? Because what actually happened in Iraq, surely George Bush should have been one of the first people there. I agree to the extent that there's been discrimination, but look at the people who sit at the AU. Look at Mbasogo, the guy from Equatorial Guinea. Look at even in Ethiopia. Look at even in Uganda, where Dr. Matsanga comes from. Look at even in Zimbabwe, where Dr. Matsanga was very active, actually speaking for Bob Mugabe.
And I removed the sanctions
and against Zimbabwe. And even if he removed sanctions, look at what is happening on the streets of Zimbabwe.
But
look at what happened in Merangwe.
No, it is you NGOs like you,
talk of what happened in Merangwe,
who support NGOs. I don't feed on NGO money.
No, you can't kill citizens and say you don't feed on NGO money.
Who killed the citizens in Zimbabwe? It was Morgan.
Sorry, but for now, please, Dr. you'll allow me to read a few SMSs.
Yes.
Actually, you have so many SMSs that are coming in. One of the viewer, he is saying, hello GBS, why OCHIENG is against Uhuru versus Ruto ndio waliosababisha ghasia. Nani aligombea urais wakati huo? Bana OCHIENG is against Uhuru and Ruto here. He says also, one of the viewers says, I guess as a country, a continent peace building and reconciliation developments is key after all evident political evidence. The issue is all responsible, big and small, including those sitting on the fence, should be ruled by a clear conscience and embrace rather transformational leadership. Then Africa, we can go it alone, SG. Dr. I've heard you talk about that how can Kenya, for example, fly its own president to ICC. Let me ask you this question. Assuming that President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, alongside his deputy William Ruto, had not won the just concluded general election, was it, for example, ideal for them to go to The Hague? Because now you seem to concentrate so much on the issue of them being the heads of state here, like the president and the deputy president. Is it more of them being in leadership?
Let me tell you, I've defended these people whether they are president or not president.
Yeah.
I've not been shy.
And that one I know.
No,
I'm just
look
asking.
at me.
I'm just
Look at me. At my age,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stoop low, not to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Because the truth will set me free. I'm in a Christian television station.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell a lie.
Yeah.
These guys, whether they fail to be president or what, there is something wrong. They were wrongly framed. In criminal international law, the highest responsibility goes where? You want me to speak the truth?
Yeah, speak
The highest responsibility in 208 goes to Raila Odinga and Kibaki. They were the leaders of the parties. Yeah, when they touch Raila Odinga, you shake your head.
No.
Because you want to protect him, and you don't want people to talk. You are the people who make him not to win even elections.
But Dr.
because you don't want to be.
That is according to your own investigation.
No, not me.
Yeah.
The highest criminal responsibility is for leaders of parties. Leaders of parties in criminality. When you are going to arrest a mafia in Sicily, you don't arrest a mafia who shoots on the streets. You arrest the one who sits at home and said number plate 0005, shoot that one.
Yeah.
That is the man, the godfather is the one they are looking for. And Ocampo told us this on our television, that we are looking for the big godfathers. Who are they? Please, there are some things I know about this case that I cannot say on public. And I will not say it, but I know who is supposed to be in that court. So don't tempt me to say it, because if you are
you shouldn't even speak
let
about
me
it.
keep quiet. Yeah. We are doing this for national unity.
Because again, we are not carrying out investigations here.
I am not.
And you're not even
I am not. But for you also allow people to talk about certain people. You also want, you see the viewer is telling you that you are hammering Uhuru. Why are you hammering Uhuru so much? And Ruto?
But even some viewers are accusing you as well, much as they are accusing
Mr. ONYANGO. But I am not a party in this. Whether Uhuru was a president or Ruto was not a vice president, I was still defending them because they were taken there wrongly. The man did not do an investigation. I don't care whether they are president or prime or deputy. I'll do that.
Mr. ONYANGO responds to that.
First, let me just say, first I congratulate Daktari here for his peace efforts, especially in the Uganda and the one that he did in Zimbabwe, and even his sustained efforts at the ICC. But then, Daktari, why don't we now start exploring other mechanisms of bringing an end to impunity? In as much as we hate the ICC, personally, I also have personal issues with ICC. Especially, I feel that George Bush and Tony Blair should be serious indictees of the ICC over what happened in Iraq. Many people died, over 1 million. Many people were left widows. Many homes were destroyed, and there was a lot of deportation actually. And even what is right now happening in Syria, what Israel did in southern Lebanon, all these are crimes that constitute, and even to the fact. But Dr. Let me ask you, these African countries, 34 African countries that joined ICC, what do you think was their motivation?
At that time, I told you I'm one of those who went to Rome in that cold winter with Kofi Annan and some other people to stand and say, this from ICC. In fact, one of the Kenyans who was there was Twitter Mangi, the PS of Foreign Affairs. I was there. I've lived in Europe, fought for democracy, because in my own country in 1998, it was a one-party state. Where President Museveni never wanted to hear another voice. And which other place could we go to? We created ICC. Now the hell blew up to ICC. America is not a signatory of ICC.
They're not?
America has stood. Obama, that's why he has to hop step, because people will ask questions, journalists will ask him questions in Nairobi. You are not a member of ICC. Why do you talk about ICC, Obama? Obama should not even mention one word about ICC.
But Dr. even in Africa as a continent, we saw in AU, in the AU summit that was just concluded in Ethiopia, we saw even some member countries, African. Actually, it's not about those who supported. Actually, when you see how many countries actually are subscribed to the ICC.
Of course, Gambia.
Around 34, but around 53 supported.
When we see incidences like that one that happened at Marikana in South Africa, surely, don't you think then we need something that, we just need something to checkmate the excesses of this regime?
Boss OCHIENG, my dear and my host,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem we have is investigating methods, the way the chief prosecutor gathers his evidence. Let's leave Kenya case.
Yeah.
Let's go to Libya. So that the viewers can see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Libyan case, before
Briefly, sir, because now we are coming just to the end of
yes,
the show.
before
in a
the
while.
okay, quickly, before the end of the war, warrants of arrest had been issued to Gaddafi and the son.
Yeah.
They wanted the son. The son was captured, and guess what? Now the ICC has failed to compel the Libyan government to hand over Said Gaddafi. Now they are cutting this man one finger by one finger.
Very sad.
Which is sad. Now, is this not what I talk about, double standards of ICC? And this is exactly what I say, that ICC is a good institution.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, viewers, I have not said I have a problem with them. I have one problem with the chief prosecutor's office. And that if they straighten that, they can continue to look for those criminals who are making crimes on Africa.
Dr. Okay, Mr. Onyango, and I'm just giving you like 10 seconds to conclude and also give you a parting shot before you conclude the show.
On the Libyan case, I do agree with Dr. The prosecutor's office, the OTP, was actually presented with a lot of evidence to show that the rebels actually did commit crimes against humanity. What did he do? He just indicted al-Sanusi, he indicted Gaddafi's son, he indicted Muammar Gaddafi. He ignored the rest. Right now, we're even seeing what is happening in Syria, where there's so much interested in indicting al-Assad, but ignoring the excesses that are being done by the rebels. Even Carla Del Ponte, the UN lead investigator into that case, has actually come out and said that the rebels used sarin. These people are not even interested. That I agree. But then we must put an end to impunity of this nature and cut them. The AU faces that I saw there talking about blocking ICC and stuff, look at them.
Thank you,
These are people who kill democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Onyango. Maybe briefly, in 10 seconds, let me also give you like 10 seconds to respond and maybe give your parting shot as concerned today's
My parting shot is this. Kenya underwent a turmoil, 2007-2008. The cases were investigated in a flawed manner. These cases need to be reinvestigated. The chief prosecutor should terminate these cases under Article 53, return now that there is TJRC, which has widened the scope, and do a thorough investigation so that we get justice for victims, other than taking a case where 1 week or 2 days it will be dismissed and the victims will die twice. I am not against the ICC. I am against the methods that the chief prosecutor used, the intermediaries in the Kenyan cases, whom we know are NGO people who were paid money to collect witnesses to take to the Hague.
Thank you, Sana Daktari, as well as Mr. Onyango OCHIENG, our political analyst and columnist of the People Daily, actually for taking your time and joining us to discuss about this topic of Kenya's bid to want to refer ICC cases back to Kenya. Remember, it has actually been a very bruising debate here. You've seen varied views from Mr. Onyango and Dr. David Matsanga here, giving actually conflicting views at some point also in the debate, trying to agree on one or two issues. But again, before I conclude the debate this morning, let me read a few of the SMSs from you, my dear viewer. Dr. Matsanga, don't waste time with people who want to see President and his deputy destroyed and see Kenya go into flames. That is Mr. Kamau is SMSing from Kikuyu. People of Kenya, we know who started the violence in 2007. Mr. Daktari, tunakusikia zaidi. Kusimama mahali tumefika ni Mungu. Kenya ina majaribio ila kuna ushindi hivi karibuni. Another person here is saying Matsanga is more of President Uhuru youth wing. The day Uhuru was declared president by IEBC, Matsanga was in a red TNA t-shirt, lined up to welcome Uhuru till he was wished off.
That was my UPC.
Another person here is saying, another viewer is saying, sorry, but he's saying, truth be told, there are people who still occupy others' houses in Kibera who evicted landlords from other communities since 2008. That is Kirui. ICC cases should stay at The Hague. That is also another viewer. There are actually so many SMSs that have been sent here by our viewers wherever you're watching us. Thank you once more, and remember to join us on Friday. I've been your host, Samuel Tawish.